Would you like to say hello? Happy Monday. We commence another week. It's up to you. Profound. As usual, we are going for a little run, which I'm not really in the mood for, but I'm sure will be good for the body.
And mind.
Mind and soul. It counts as a warm-up if you're holding a phone. Hello, small man. Good.
Yeah, the hammies are definitely still a little bit.
Hello, excuse my wet hair. I've just had a shower and it takes an insane amount of time to dry. This weekend, or this week rather, I didn't actually film very much during the week because we didn't really do anything interesting. I took you on that run on Monday, which turned into predominantly a walk for me because I was just not in the mood. This weekend, I'm going to take you with me for the whole weekend because Duncan's actually having to work on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm not working on Friday, which means that I've got 3 days mostly to myself, which I don't really like because I am just, it's not so much that I'm an extrovert, it's just that I really like to have the company of the people that I love all the time. Like I don't ever need to be on my own. And therefore I don't seek out spending time on my own, and I'm not very good at spending time on my own. However, this weekend, I'm determined that I'm going to do lots of lovely, nice things at home and around Byron by myself, because I don't want to waste a beautiful sunny weekend feeling sorry for myself and being lonely. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Morning everyone, I'm just waiting for a car to drive past. The car gets so scared when anyone's driving close to it. It is very early in the morning. It's actually 10 to 5. And I am going to the gym with Sophie, and then we're going to go and have a coffee at the beach. Good morning, it's night time. I did actually say hello as I was leaving. We are going to go and get a coffee by the beach. Felt all nice and put together and ready to go to the beach in my outfit until I had to, I've got 3 bags. Well, actually no, I've got 2 bags and the beach umbrella. I don't know what it is about me in this life, but I feel like I'm constantly carrying more than I have the capacity to. Anyway, putting it in the car, off we go. Guys, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to show you this. I don't actually need to whisper, they can't hear me. But there's 2 plovers, I think they're called, those seabirds with the yellow faces, and they've got a baby. Look at that. That's the baby. Oh my god. Oh, he's really limping. I actually decided not to bring the umbrella because it's quite cumbersome, and it's actually not that sunny. Like there are, I mean, it's very sunny, but it's not like scalding hot, so I think I probably don't need shade. Look at that. It's 22 degrees, the car said. Very excited about it. Alright, I came home and got changed because I needed to wee and I'm now very hungry, and I've reached that stage of hunger where I'm like can't decide what I want to have, and I think I'm just gonna stop trying to overcomplicate things because we don't have very many ingredients in the house and make an omelette as usual. I feel like that's the only thing I ever eat on the video. I promise I eat other things. I'm going to take a quiet moment to eat this. I feel like I've really found a sense of peace. You know, when you get so hungry that you get a little bit frantic, I was kind of entering that panicky state of like shaky hunger. I think I'm then going to do a little self-enforced, not enforced, but I think rather than knitting, I have been trying to gently get back into doing a bit of drawing, because I used to draw and paint all the time. I did it all through high school and then had a while of even making prints and stuff of my illustrations to sell at the cafe that Duncan and I worked at. But since having moved to Australia, I've really let it lapse, and it's definitely a bit like with any kind of form of creativity, it's definitely a muscle, and it's not something that I want to lose the ability to do, which I definitely have to a degree. Like, I'm not at my peak drawing game, but there are actually a couple of things, like places around the house, that I wouldn't mind maybe filling with something that I've made myself, namely because all the stuff that I like is a little bit very, very expensive. So in true form, kind of like, well, I'll just make something. But like this wall behind me, I'd love to put a like a big picture there, maybe something slightly abstract. I decided that I'm going to draw upstairs because, just for a change of scene, I thought, but also because my phone needs charging and I have a charger upstairs. I could bring it downstairs, but I thought I would take myself to it. And it gets quite nice afternoon light in here. I might show you actually. Yeah, I also feel like I've been spending quite a lot of time kind of being ungrateful for this house. And I'm realizing that while there are lots of things that are not quote unquote perfect, or, you know, far from it, it doesn't serve me to focus on those things. And there are lots of things about this house that I really love, but I think because, I don't know, I think because I have like big aspirations, I guess, for what I want my dream house to look like, that has been kind of like precluding me from actually taking joy from what this is. So I'm trying to be more appreciative of this small little house, even though it's, no, not even though, because it's perfect for what we need. How sweet! With the sun coming through, doesn't it look like a little tree house? Let me put the... Duncan's home.
Hello.
I've made very good progress with my baby jumper. I'm actually about to run out of the blue yarn. It's got a lot more body now. And I've also made, if you watched last week's video, you would have seen the shepherd's pie that I made, but I've made another one that's even bigger, to the point that it kind of like slightly began overflowing in the oven. I suspect that it's close to the 10 kilo mark. Like, that's my hand. It's maybe 5 days worth of food. Hello. Breakfast has been eaten. Duncan's just left for work, and I am going to put a couple of loads of washing on. Then I think I'm going to take myself out. And I'm thinking that I might go to The Woods, which is a cafe out in Bangalow that I've actually not been to before, but I think it's got quite a lot of nice outdoor seating area. So I think I might pack myself a little bag with knitting, maybe my journal, and maybe a book, even though I've not really been reading a physical book at the moment. I do kind of have one on the go, but I'm not really into it. I would just take my knitting, but depending on the setting, I sometimes feel like knitting in public is a little bit like, look at me. which maybe that's just in my own head and I'm not doing it for that reason, but because it's, I don't know. We'll see how I feel. And then this afternoon is Jordan, like Sophie and Jordan are friends that have been around the vlog a few times before. It's his last football game of the season this afternoon and he's playing in Byron. So I think I might join Sophie on the sidelines with my knitting this evening. And I reckon that'll probably take up the majority of the day. I might try and do a little bit more, my arms are feeling really sore. And on my legs actually, from yesterday's workout. My legs are really sore this morning and my arm gets sore from holding the phone. But I've completely taken myself on a tangent and can't remember what I was saying. I've recalled. I was going to say I might do some more drawing this afternoon because yesterday my drawing session lasted all of about 3 minutes because my Apple Pen only had like 3% battery and then the iPad was also dying. I realised I could do physical on paper drawing, but it's just a little bit kind of more of like a barrier to entry because I have to like get my equipment out and get the paper out and blah blah blah, so it's quite easy to just do it on the iPad. So yeah, that is the plan. I'm going to listen to the audiobook that I started yesterday. I don't think I've mentioned this. I have actually started listening to the Iliad, translation by Emily Wilson, which I think will be quite good, but it's like slightly heavier lifting than just listening to a novel. So it's not something that I'm feeling like super inspired to listen to when I just want entertainment. I kind of need to be in the right mood or I quite quickly end up zoning out and not actually listening to it. The motivation to listen to that is so that I can then listen to the Odyssey prior to watching the film, which I know is entirely unnecessary, but for some reason I felt like that was something that I wanted to do, but that's not what I'm going to listen to. I've started listening to Land by Maggie O'Farrell, I think. I'll double check that name, but it's quite good so far. I've only listened to it when I was at the beach yesterday, but I'm going to keep listening to that and I will let you know how it goes. Just been sitting down doing some knitting on the baby jumper and I finished the Italian bind off, which even though I've used that technique on garments for ages, every time I do it I'm so impressed by what a beautiful finishing it is. It's like the most professional looking cast off that you can do, despite it being remarkably time consuming and quite fiddly. But I was doing that while I was waiting for the sheets to finish washing, which I'm now going to put in the tumble dryer. And I'm hoping it's 11:42. Where does the day go? I'm hoping that now is a kind of slightly quieter time to go to Woods, because I don't want to go there when it's like peak breakfast or peak lunch. So I feel like I'll probably get there at it'll be just after 12, but yeah, hopefully that's like pre-main lunch rush. So that is what I'm off to do. I'm quite stiff. Hilariously, I'm out in Bangalow in the showgrounds. For some reason, I thought that the Woods was like kind of in the hinterland, like not in the middle of Bangalow town, kind of like Newry Bar. I thought it was like a destination, but it's not, it seems. It's quite central. Off we go. that was most pleasant. And I think that the trick to, for me at least, maybe for others, the trick to being able to do things on my own comfortably is to bring an activity, such as a journal or a book or something, because it just kind of like, I don't know, gives you something to do, rather than just sitting and gazing into space. But I had a little walk around Bangalow, which is very busy on a Saturday morning or afternoon, as it may now be, but very, very pretty. There were 3 Jack Russells. I think one of them must have been crossed with like a Chihuahua because he was so tiny. They were all standing outside the shop, like staring inside, like, where's our owner? So I said hello to all of them, which brought me much joy. And they, I think, also enjoyed saying hello. I haven't acquired anything thus far. There's a really cool shop called Remote Projects that I've seen online before. They do kind of, I think it is supposed to be kind of like outdoor gear-ish, or like stuff that you take camping kind of thing, because they do these like amazing waxed canvas tarpaulins and things, and then bags made out of the same material. And they had one bag in not quite like an electric blue, but like a very vibrant blue color in canvas. And someone coming in, I don't want them to see me filming myself. And I wanted it immensely. And actually, do you know what? I don't know whether I've been subtly influenced, and I think I've come up with this idea myself, but actually I've just been slowly metabolizing small pieces of data fed to me through the internet, or whether I genuinely have good taste. I suspect it is the former because but I have all of a sudden had an interest in making a beaded bag, but like out of big beads, kind of like trying to find some maybe like vintage resin beads and making a bag out of them. And I was also thinking that I don't think I'll do this weekend, but potentially next week, not next weekend because it's Duncan's birthday, whatever, at some point in the future, I'd like to go to the bead shop in Byron and get some beads to make myself a new key ring, because I just feel like this is not as sexy as I would like it to be. I've also got I have this terrible habit of leaving the tags that the mechanic leaves on the keys. Anyway, I want to make myself a beaded keychain. And then I went into this incredibly beautiful, expensive store in Bangalow, and they had all this stuff made in beads. So I think that I'm the victim of downstream marketing, but in my mind, I am an early adopter. A couple of weeks ago, I tried to go to the little flower stall that's between Bangalow and Byron, but it was closed. But because it's on my journey home, I'm going to go there this time, and hopefully it'll be open. Also, I forgot to say, happy Lionsgate Portal to those who celebrate. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. The op shop closed at 12:30, and while the stall says it is open, there is nothing there, but there is a horse over there that I'm going to go and say hello to. I lie, there is some tomato relish. Hello, come and say hello, sweetie pie. Doesn't want to say hello to me. I'm back. I have just put the sheets on the bed, done another load of dishwashing, and I'm going to sit down and do some iPad drawing. Not really sure what I'm going to do. Whatever I do, I think I'm not going to try and... I think I'm just going to do like a sketch with no... I'm not going to draw anything for something. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to do a masterpiece. It's going to go on this wall behind me. Because I feel like when I do that, I put too much pressure on myself, and then I don't make anything good and I get frustrated. I am going to go down to watch the football, but I've made a little flask of hot chocolate that I now don't know how to get from here into here. So I don't know if my pouring skills are up to the job. Yum. Okay, I can do this. Oh no! Bugger! Try again, I can do this. Alright, got my hot chocolate. Dangerously taking an actual one of our good cups, or our only cups, because I think in one of the great purges we might have freed ourselves from all plastic cups, unless they're on top of the fridge. No, I don't think so. Anyway, so I must take great care of this small mug. I'm going to walk down because it is good for me. Hi, cheeky girl. Hi. That dog had escaped from its owner. That's the second time that's happened to me in a matter of months. Can you tell how early it is for my face? I am gonna go to the beach for sunrise. Duncan left for work really early this morning, and it wasn't actually my intention to get up. I thought I might sleep in and have a slow morning, but when his alarm went off, you know, when you just wake up and sometimes you're really awake, that happened to me this morning. So I had a coffee, and I am gonna go to Watergoes with my journal and watch the sunrise and then have a little coffee at the beach. I think we've made it, well, I hope you can hear me over the sound of the waves. I think we've made it just in time for sunrise, and I'm going to take you a secret way around the rocks that you can do when the tide's not too high. Home again. That was the most beautiful sunrise I've seen in a long time. Like, the sunrise itself was really beautiful, but I think I was also in a mood to kind of like really take it in. And that whale that jumped, I think I got a clip of it, but my phone doesn't really, like, in real life it was like 8,000 times as amazing. I think that's the closest I've ever been to a whale jumping right in front of me like that. Like, it was probably about 100 meters away. And then there was some more like further out on the horizon line that jumped a little bit later too. But it just felt really beautiful and warm and tropical, and there were so many surfers out. I think actually they might have been doing some kind of like surf event because there were quite a lot of people on the beach. But it just felt really lovely to be out there and watching the waves and the whales and the surfers enjoy it. And I had a coffee, which was very sweet, and sat for a moment by myself. I also feel like I've really, I've been unnecessarily, not concerned, because I wouldn't say I've been concerned about spending time on my own, but like, unnecessarily dismissive of my ability to spend time on my own, because I've actually had a very lovely weekend, even if it might be my preference to have company when there's the option. I'm very capable of enjoying myself, and as I said, I think the trick is to like take stuff with you, so you've always kind of got something to take the place of like having a conversation with someone else, like take a diary or your knitting or a book, or whatever, just so that you've got kind of like something to stay for, if that makes sense. Or you could just stay and sit at the look at the view. But yeah, I feel like I've had a very successful weekend on my own. It has felt rich and full of beautiful experiences. Today, I think I'm going to do a little face mask now and then have a shower. And then I'm going to try and go to the supermarket earlier rather than later. And I'm going to wrap Duncan's birthday presents, which, sorry to dangle this in front of you, but I can't show you in this video because this is coming out tomorrow and his birthday's not till next week. It's on Wednesday, but if you come back next week, then you can see me wrapping all of his presents, which I'm very excited about, but I need to get wrapping paper from the supermarket. So I think I'm gonna put a face mask on, do a little bit of knitting, because I'd also really like to finish the baby jumper for Cora's baby, because then potentially tomorrow on my lunch break I can put it in the post, and then I think kind of potter around home for the afternoon. Yeah, I'll take you with me so you'll see what I end up doing. I also don't think I've showed you where I'm up to with the jumper. So I finished this sleeve. I think it's gonna be it's gonna fit in for a long time, but I really like the different colorways on the sleeve. I think it's very cute. Yeah, I got sucked into such a knitting vortex and I couldn't stop. Face mask has dried and it's made my skin a funny colour. I couldn't stop knitting, so I've knitted for far longer than I meant to and done that thing where like my day's now not in line with the timeline that I had in my head, which I completely invented. So it's silly for me to be like, I'm not on track, but I sometimes feel like that when I set unrealistic expectations for myself and then don't follow them and then make up a ridiculous sense of being behind schedule when there is actually no schedule. But I made very good headway with that sleeve. I will definitely be finishing this today. I've left this on for like 8 times as long as the tube recommends. So I'm gonna go and prepare myself to face the day more thoroughly. Looking very shiny. This sunblock does sink in really nicely. It just takes a moment. So I kind of for like maybe an hour end up looking very, very reflective. But it's actually not as greasy as it looks it is. I am going to go to the supermarket now. Just to prove that I eat something other than omelettes, oh, I can't even pick it up. I'm having a delicious fruit salad. I bought some golden kiwi fruits because I felt like it. For some reason we don't often buy fruit from the supermarket, but I did so that I could have a little fruit salad, which I'm now going to eat, but I wanted to show you before I'm going to mix it all up because that's how I like to do it. All right, girls and boys, you are in the kitchen. I'm about to cook dinner. I am gonna make tofu, rice and greens because that is all my inspiration now for. And I thought I would end the video here. I've just got a tiny bit of knitting left on that baby jumper. So I'm gonna finish that tonight for sure, and I will show you that after this, but I thought I would say goodbye now before I start cooking. Thank you very much for spending the weekend with me, if you're still here. It was a very, very pleasant weekend with beautiful weather and lots of nice little activities. And I'm also really pleased with myself for so thoroughly enjoying a weekend on my own and not just like, I don't know, I feel like it's quite easy to get kind of bogged down not doing very much when you're on your own. Like being with someone is an excuse to kind of do nice things. Thank you for coming along with me as I find my feet doing experiences on my own. That's all for now. I really hope you come back next week because, as I said, Duncan's birthday, it's going to be a really good one. Going to see lots of friends and have a bit of a party on Saturday night. So I think it's going to be lots of fun. But I will see you next time, hopefully.